don't know if you need to hear this, but I definitely did. And honestly, it really just helped me see things so much differently. And it makes me so excited for 2025. Y'all, are you ready for another sit down chit chat? I really wanted to share the things that I have learned this year and some of the lessons I just like kind of wish I knew a little bit sooner, but obviously it was like meant for me to really receive in 2024 that will help you start 2025 off on a great foot, plus sharing some of my goals for 2025. So grab your little drinky drink. And if you happen to be new here, I'm Jordan Blackwell, JB for short, your sustainable materials bestie turned lifestyle content creator behind Little Miss JB Style. And I help you find not just what looks good, but what feels good. And honestly, when the lessons finally hit and you're like, ooh, I get it. Like, is there not a better feeling? Like, obviously, you may not have wanted to go through like the crappy situation to learn the lesson, but being on the other side, it feels so good. And the first lesson that I learned this year that I really want you to hear that really changed things for me was it's not too late. I don't care what it is that you're trying to do. Like, it's not too late. And this is coming from somebody who has always felt like a late bloomer. Like, I really didn't date boys until later. I really didn't feel like I developed till later. I really didn't find my personal style until later, like, or my passion in life until later. You know, I just did a lot of like the right things, right? Like, or just what I was told. Go to school, don't get pregnant, go to college, get a degree, get a good job, you know, pay off your debt, you know, and don't get me wrong, those things really set me up to be in a great position to take this leap. But y'all, again, it's just never too late. I know you see like a million people probably doing what it is that you want to do, but one thing for sure, two things for certain, like the universe put it in you for a reason, and then the universe wouldn't put it there if it wasn't supposed to be there. And being on this other side, I was so fearful. It's like, I'm a small creator. I still don't have over 15K on any platform just yet. And like, I'm able to go into my third year. It will be my third year full time doing this. I never would have thought that. I never would have thought that in my 30s there would have been an avenue for me to do this, especially like a small girl from Wisconsin, y'all. Like, just the odd duckling really just didn't feel like I fit in a lot of places. And it's 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 there. Like, the opportunity is there. And when you start to see it from that way, like, it's not too late for me. And there is a way for me to make this work. You're going to just see a lot of the opportunities laid out for you and the avenues to get there. Because the next lesson that I really learned this year was like, your path is the problem. A lot of us only want to walk one path to get to success. A lot of us only want success if it looks a certain way. But sometimes your success will not look like other success. But that doesn't mean that you aren't successful, and that doesn't mean you won't equally get that value or that money or those accolades that you're looking for. But you may want to walk a path that somebody walked so gracefully and was so easy for them, and that may not be your path. Girl, that may not be your path. That may not be your path. And one creator, and I cannot think of his name, but hopefully I'll find the video and pop it up here. He literally said like, it took him 150 videos before he popped. And like, if you knew what that number was, like how many steps you needed to take to finally reach that level, would you still do it, knowing it was that big of a number? And a lot of people were like, no, I wouldn't. And I was just like so surprised, because it's like, but you know that if you, once you hit that 160th step, you're going to really pop off and you're going to have everything you want. You don't want to do it because you want to pop off at 10 steps, at 15 steps. Like, it was such an eye-opening conversation. And when I really realized that, like, it's not about changing the destination, but being flexible in the methods, that really opened a lot of doors for me, like, and made me really big picture, like, especially being a content creator doing fashion. Everyone thinks the bag's like more fashion brands and working with the fashion brands. And I'm like, the companies that have paid me four figures with no argument are not the fashion brands, have not been the fashion brands. And that was one of the things I had to take a step back. Like, yeah, it looks cool to be like, ooh, this fashion brand sent me stuff. But that was keeping me from being as successful as I could have been, because I wanted it. I wanted my path to be the path that all the other girlies got to take. And that just isn't the path. And that's okay. But don't let that keep you from getting there. The other thing I really learned this year was not to overthink. And you're talking to a Virgo type A engineer. Of course, my job was to think, and to think hard, and to really, really think about all the things that could go wrong at all times, and all contingencies, and every single little, but baby, ooh, the moment I stopped thinking too hard, right? Like, and really trusted my gut. Because the other thing that being older is really, really great, like being in my 30s, it's like, baby, you have so much experience, so many experiences that have made you knowledgeable that like I don't have to justify and doubt and think about all these other things because I've done this enough. I already know the success. I already know the formula. Like I just need to rinse, wash, and repeat instead of like, well, maybe if I just, and maybe if I just like, again, when I realized that, and this goes back to that last lesson, it's like, because I really wanted my path to look like that, I veered off of what was working for me, and that's what caused me to overthink instead of coming up and showing up in what was natural and what made sense and what was authentically me. Like, for a long time, again, I really wanted to be the maven, the baddie, that mysterious. And don't get me wrong, like girls got sex appeal, but I'm a goofy person. Like I'm silly. I like to joke. I bust out into dances. I bust out into song. Like I have very little serious bones. Like that's where I shine. And I kept overthinking it because I wanted to be seen as the video vixen, the mysterious one. Like, and nothing wrong and no shade to those girls. That just was not, again, like that was causing me to overthink because it was more effort for me to show up like that. And then also it became inauthentic and it showed through, like, again, not that I'm not a baddie and not that I don't come on here like she's sexy, but the forcedness reads through a lot of the time when you're overthinking. And sometimes, a lot of the times, like that's why a lot of people like the more organic content. And I really loved this year being able to show that, like, yeah, I'm just out and about and somebody complimented my outfit or just hyped me up. And that has been my experience and the experiences I have just walking through this life being me and not overthinking it. Like, I'm not trying to hit a certain this or certain that. I just showed up as myself and it was well received. And so, not overthinking it because it's going to give you analysis paralysis and the thinking is not doing. And what we need to do is do. You need to stop overthinking. You need to stop overthinking. The next lesson caught me by surprise because I didn't think I was gonna be in the situation I was, but I'm braver than I think, and you're braver than you think. And it's so easy to feel like you're not because we're all comparing. And then we're also talking about completely different situations and completely different people. And when you saw my trip to Thailand and I ended up by myself and the very real tears were shed, and it was like, I really wasn't sure I was going to be able to do that. I was like, I know I'm already in the other country. Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to stay in this hotel room and just not leave? Am I going to not explore? I was terrified, y'all. I was so terrified. And like, doing it and doing all the things, and I had such a great time. Like this is still one of my favorite moments, was going to this coffee shop, getting this shot, like the iconic Phuket, you know what I mean? Like I was so proud of myself. I was so proud of myself. And then getting out on the boats and like going snorkeling, like, and then making it to another country to meet with my bestie for her vow renewal. Like, you're braver than you think. You're braver than you think, but you will overthink yourself out of your bravery. You're noticing a lot of these lessons are tied together. You're noticing these lessons are tied together. And I know I do that a lot. Like there's a lot of times where it's like, once I do it or get there, all the things I was worried about are not even an actual issue. And like, I can just get things done. And I am so glad, even though I didn't appreciate being put in the situation I was put in, I'm so glad I learned and discovered how brave I was. Cause I was like, I really thought I was gonna be a scaredy cat. Like I'm outside. Like I'm making friends. I am exploring things. And that really motivated me to go do New York Fashion Week by myself and get all my content and like shoot all my stuff. And I was like, I can handle it. Like whatever comes my way, I can handle it. And that was such a reassuring feeling. And you can only have those experiences by having those experiences. Like if all you have are your beliefs based off of like previous experiences, you need to have new experiences to change your belief system. So if you want to believe that, say there's good guys out there, you need to go find and be on dates with good guys and have those experiences with good guys to shift your beliefs, right? If you feel like there's money, right? Like you need to shift your experiences with money and getting money and your money management to prove to yourself and shift your beliefs. Like that was so cool because I really did think I was scary on the low. Like I really was like, I'm probably gonna stay inside. But I really found out that I was like brave, like really brave. And that, like I said, that just really, I'm still getting emotional just thinking about it. Like I'm just so proud of myself for not letting that keep me from having a great experience with myself and with my friends. Which brings me into the next one, which is your stories need to be heard. It doesn't have to be all your stories, and it doesn't have to be, you know, the damning stories or whatever, but your stories are important. And it took me a long time to feel comfortable coming on here and telling a lot of my stories and sharing myself, just because, like, for a long time, I really did feel like people wouldn't relate to me, or I just, like I said, it just was always the odd man out because a lot of my friends, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't come up rich, but I didn't come up poor, right? I came up around a lot of white people, you know what I mean? And like I was assimilated a little bit late, right? And that was what that was. And so just a lot of my lived experiences, it felt like the odd man out a lot. And so I just felt like people just always kept telling me like, oh, you don't know. And I'm like, I mean, I do know, you know what I mean? Even if I haven't physically lived through it. And so I was always just scared to tell my stories because a lot of people kind of painted me as privileged without even knowing me. And knowing like, again, like just what I've gone through and those kinds of things. But that was also my fault because I didn't share my stories. I just let them tell me that that's what I was instead of saying, actually, let me share my story first. And then you can go ahead and decide, where I fit or what fits or what doesn't, you know what I mean? And so don't be afraid to share your stories, big, small. People need to hear it, and you'd be surprised how many people you help. Like the amount of people who came to me after I shared about like traveling solo, like, and all that stuff, just like really were just the amount of people who were like proud and just felt like they could overcome stuff. Like, and that was one of the reasons I even started my channel with style, because it was like, again, I came from a small town in Wisconsin. We had J.C. Penney, we had Aeropostale. My mom, I love her. Like she wears leggings. There's nothing wrong with that. But like she's not a fashion icon. My dad's not a fashion forward person. Like all of this is like self-taught. You know what I mean? And if just me showing up and sharing the silly stories of like what I used to dress like and how I dress now helps somebody go, oh my gosh, yeah, I could do that. Like that's worth it. That's always gonna be worth it. Helping out anybody, if you are in the position to, is always going to be worth it. It's always going to be worth it. And something as simple as sharing your stories can help someone out in so many ways that you just wouldn't even know. Then one that I kind of knew, but because of the business, I will not lie, it's been such a stressful year. Your mindset matters. Your mindset matters so much. And viewing things optimistically, having an open mind, like it matters so much. It matters so much. There's so many times I've watched myself, my friends, like talk themselves out of amazing opportunities just because our mindset wasn't quite where it needed to be. Like, and we let that imposter syndrome and we let all those like just false things, because just because you have the thought doesn't make it true. You know what I mean? Like, and so really getting my mindset together this year was so important. Like, how can I maintain the things that help me, like working out for me helps me stay grounded, helps me kind of like keep my mind clear. And like when I wasn't working out, I could tell like things were in shambles. Like, same with eating good. I have found like when I don't eat good, it's just all chaotic. Like, so having the right mindset is so important, because a lot of people come into things and think like, but what if, obstacle, obstacle, obstacle. And like my shift to just, yeah, that's another thing I'm going to figure out how to do. It has changed the game. Like I said, like once the trip happened, I was like, ooh, new character unlocked. Like if I can figure that out, if I can be in a country where they do not speak English at all, like English is, it's not even like the third language. It just, we're like, literally I'm busting out my phone translation app because no one speaks English. And I could figure that out, like how to get where I needed, how to get money, like yeah, I will be able to figure it out. I will be able to figure it out. And I think that's such an important mindset to have, as an abundance and a growth and an opportunity mindset versus like, there's not opportunities. It's always something. It's always me. I have just found that leads to being like that self-fulfilling prophecy of like, there will always be something versus, yeah, no, like something came up, but like, it was no big deal. You know what I mean? And not to minimize obviously like very big things or minimize things that can be hard, but just understanding like not to dwell there, and how to just accept things has also been a big one for me. Like I absolutely was very much a person like, I can do it, why can't you? I like this and this, why can't, and learning to accept like, hey, that maybe that's just not them, maybe that's just not their capacity, maybe that's just not, where they're at right now. Learning that acceptance as well can be such a game changer in terms of like taking those next steps. And in line with that, like your circle matters. I would say like the way my circle has expanded to be almost the dream team I've been wanting for a long time. Just like girlies who are about their business, excited for the opportunities, who are always looking on the bright side, who are always got like, just their pulse on like the next thing, not like always on the go, but just have that good balance of like, I'm hustling, but I know how to have fun and I'm business minded. Like, I definitely struggled to find a lot of those girls. Like, I definitely found some here and there. But a lot, but a lot of the time, like some of my friends were definitely like, we're just gonna go out or we're just gonna, you know what I mean? Like, and not that there's anything wrong because, your girl like to shake a booty butt cheek. But I knew kind of going into this next phase, like, I was ready for the friends, like, hey, let's go on this trip together out the country and wear our cute little outfits and like make that into like a brand collab trip somehow. Like those were the kinds of friends I was like ready to have and who were like able to do those kinds of things. And so this year really shed light on like who was fitting that bill and who wasn't, and just shifting accordingly, because it's not that obviously like you can't have other friends, but one of the things again that was really hard for me as someone who is the all-around friend, like you call me, I'm your road dog, okay? Like my friends know, like Jordan will go out, Jordan will do brunch, Jordan will work out, Jordan will go on a trip. Like I'm the all-around friend. Like, do you need someone to cry on? Like, yep, I may not let you cry long, but I can come over, she's gonna feed me. Like I'm the all-around friend, and I kept wanting that for my friends. And it took me a while to find the couple of friends that truly were all-around friends, and then just finding that circle of people who I admire and want to be like, on top of people that, hey, we can just chill and do chill things, and have that kind of circle the way that it really like needed to be for me to be as successful as I could, because black women in this game, if you watch my Black Footwear Forum video, like black women are the most over mentored, under sponsored demographic, right? And that was something I really wanted to change. It's like I feel like I have a lot of good women helping advise business wise, but I also needed the friends who are actually doing what I'm doing to understand and help me connect those dots. And then also women who are out there championing for me, like, hey, you don't know Jordan, or you're looking for someone to do social media, or you're looking for this, and putting me on to business opportunities. So the circle, it matters. It matters. Like as much as I wanted to fight that, birds of a feather flock together, I really fought that as a kid, because I'm like, I'm nothing like my friends, and like I can still be friends with these people, and like I still stand by that to an extent. I don't think that you need to drop everybody, but there really were a couple of situations this year where it was like, baby, like your negative energy or you putting me in this situation, like I can't have friends like that. I just can't have friends like that anymore. Like that just is not, it's just not gonna work for where I'm headed in my life. Moving into some of the goals and intentions for 2025, I usually like to pick 2 words for the year. This last year for 2024, it was clarity and traction. And when I say, that's definitely what 2024 gave. I feel like going into 2025, the big thing for me is more intention and simplifying. I love to try so many things, y'all. Like if you see my style, that's probably very apparent. You've watched my Instagram videos, my edits and all of that. I just love to be playful. I'm a playful person. I love to try things and experiment. However, that is getting a little bit too much to try and multi-juggle on top of like running the business. I want to scale up the business. I am actively looking for a video editor and a virtual assistant. If you are somebody or know somebody, please send them my way, because I have hit that point where there are some things I definitely need to outsource, and part of that is making sure I have the systems in place. And that's why I do need to simplify for now, where it's like, okay, I want to simplify. Everything does not need to be, I don't want to say it because everything does. You know what I mean? As a Virgo, like everything does need to be exactly so. But I know watching and kind of observing where I see this next chapter, just for like the start of the year for sure, it's like we do not need to be doing more than we need to be doing so that we can scale up the way that we want to scale up. Like I definitely need to have a good format, a couple of things that are easily repeatable, and I'm ready to just, like I said, scale up. Like scalability is really kind of 2025. Simplifying to scale up. Yeah, I'm really excited because I already have a really fun trip. My uncle's talking about he's gonna rent a house in Spain for the month during one of the months next year, and he's like, just get there. And I'm like, that's all you had to say, Unc. That's all you had to say. You know your niece loves a good time. I will hop on a plane, especially Spain, y'all. Oh, especially if we go back to Madrid. Oh, the food. Y'all, the tapas. I'm already so excited for that. And then I also have, fingers crossed, a couple of shows lined up for Fashion Week again. So I'm really, really excited. So there's a lot of things, but those are the top lessons from this year that I felt like not only did I wish somebody had kind of maybe sat down and walked me through, but I also just felt the need to really, really share because I think it's so important as the year comes to an end. We're also like, what's 2025 and next year and da 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 da. And I think it's so important to actually wrap 2024. Like, so often we're so busy, like, I need to rebrand my winter arc and da 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 da. But you forget that you've actually come so, so far from where you started. And so that's really why I wanted to kind of like bring this into my rotation for the end of the year type videos, is just like, what are those lessons? What are those takeaways? What were some things that really sat with me this year that just, you know what I mean, impacted me heavily, that are gonna change the trajectory for next year? And so those were, again, some of the lessons. I'd really love to know, what is your like top 3 lessons that you learned this year? You can go as deep as you want to, girl. Like, you can give me all the tea. I will literally read the whole thing and we can talk about it. And I really want to, you already know, this is a space for us to share and have dialogue. So it's not just a one way, like, here's what I learned. I love hearing about the things that you learned and experienced as well. And if you love videos helping you find what feels good in all areas of life, not just fashion, travel, and beauty, lifestyle, but actual like conversations, mindset shifts as well, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video from your girl. And I have an entire playlist where we can catch up even more, chit chat even further, hang out. So head over there after this, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you over there.